Just by looking at the metaverse, you could tell it was going to be the lamest platform the internet had ever seen, but things are much worse than they first seemed. Despite being the creation of Facebook, which was once the most popular social media platform, very few people actually utilized the metaverse. Although it only has about 379 daily active members, Decentraland is perhaps the most well-known area of the metaverse. With the graphics of the metaverse, you might easily observe that many individuals in RuneScape's grand exchange on a single trade world. We already saw that. The metaverse has graphics that are worse than many PS2 games, despite the fact that we live in a world when ray tracing and photorealistic graphics are the norm for pretty much any AAA product being made by firms like Rockstar or Bethesda. This is Final Fantasy XII. A game for the PS2 that was released in 2006 only had a $48 million overall budget. That covers both the development budget as well as marketing expenses and similar things. Contrast this with the roughly $15 billion that Meta has invested in their metaverse in the most recent year. Speaking of graphic comparisons, many people, including myself, have been contrasting metaverse characters with Miiverse characters since, at first glance, you have to admit, they both appear to be equally shoddy. But guess what? Since the Nintendo Wii U and the Miiverse were both released 10 years ago, and Nintendo was using considerably less sophisticated technology at the time, I believe that this comparison may be demeaning to the Miiverse. 10 years ago's technology and much lower income. Additionally, Nintendo isn't exactly recognized for having cutting-edge visuals. They don't ever really concentrate on that. Nintendo nevertheless took the time to give their Miiverse characters legs in spite of these drawbacks compared to Meta and the fact that they didn't even bother to make the Miiverse look realistic. Characters in the metaverse lack legs. Everyone in the Miiverse is just a straight-up below-the-waist amputee being levitated in thin air, probably by the same cruel god that made them. They also don't have any feet, so it's not even like they have that kind of weird but at least known Rayman look with the floating limbs. Now, it appears that the legless occurrence in the metaverse is a result of the Oculus headset's poor leg tracking capabilities, which is required to use the metaverse. It has numerous cameras all over the headset and is reasonably good at tracking you up to the waist, but below that it simply lacks the knowledge. However, rather than just making something up to fill in that blank, such as giving people tentacles or perhaps centaur legs, Meta simply chose to be lazy and turn people into a floating torso. To his great credit, the old Zuck did announce that metaverse characters would soon acquire legs in his real AI form. Yes, it may have cost hundreds of millions of dollars more, and yes, it's possible that Meta had to fire a lot of workers to make it happen, but none of that is significant. Although your virtual reality avatar may now stand on their own 2 feet, their movements still don't appear to be very lifelike, even in the video we have. Their body don't appear to have any shadows, and their ankles appear to be a little bit rigid. Of course, they don't have any shadows on their legs either. I suppose that everyone in the metaverse is also a vampire since nobody has yet developed a shadow. I'd also like to point out that the animations used in the Kinect keynote that Zuck gave to demonstrate his character's new legs are motion capture animations rather than actual metaverse footage of his avatar. Hollywood deception, these legs aren't even genuine. They want you to believe that you will have legs soon, but in reality, you will remain a dejected floating torso in the metaverse for a very long time. However, I can see this Kinect keynote for what it truly is, a call for assistance. In more detail, it's a call to investors. You see, at the time I was recording this video, Meta was selling at roughly $353 per share, down from when I recorded it at $134. Now, a lot of people used to invest in Meta, at least when it was still known as Facebook. Meta is actually the F in FONG or FAM-ING, which refers to a new combination of major technology firms like Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. For years, it was true that investing in these companies would yield better returns than doing so in the S&P wing with tongue sticking out 500. The fact that the majority of all these huge tech CEOs' net worth is linked to the company stock is another reason why they are all so wealthy, especially the founders of these giant tech companies. Additionally, this is the reason why Mark Zuckerberg has lost nearly $77 billion, or more than half of his net worth, since September of last year. Due of its low performance when compared to all of those other major tech businesses, Facebook is also no longer included in the Fagman Club. Funnily enough, Apple, another member of the former Fagman group, introduced app tracking transparency, which suddenly made it very simple for any normie with an iPhone to shut out all of the Meta's tracking and advertisements that were their primary business model. This was the beginning of Facebook's downfall. Because Apple essentially shot Meta in the leg, I can kind of appreciate the rapid change in business model that company is making. The floating torsos now appear to be caused by Meta shooting themselves in the legs, which I suppose explains. Now that Meta is aware that they cannot simply attract investors with the help of a set of computer-generated legs, they went ahead and developed a genuine product, the Meta Quest Pro, which Meta also unveiled at Connect 2022. Due to the fact that it isn't really promoted for gaming or anything else that the 300 or so users of the Metaverse do, the Quest Pro differs slightly from the Quest 2 in this regard. No, the Quest Pro is attempting to become the cornerstone of this virtual office that the Zuck believes will be the moneymaker that will return his company to the top. Considering that the Quest Pro retails for $1,500, it's a sizable investment. This will likely cost more than the combined cost of the business laptop and company phone that employees would receive. Additionally, these headsets probably won't last as long as the laptops and phones that businesses are providing to their employees. I seriously doubt that servicing them will be that simple either. At the very least, I suspect it will be as simple to use as a Quest headset as a ThinkPad or Dell Latitude. Furthermore, I find it really difficult to envision someone wanting to utilize one of them for professional purposes. Even the samples from the Hunt Pro advertising don't seem particularly compelling to me, to be honest. For example, in this image, a woman is using the Quest Pro to create 4 virtual monitors, but $1,500 would be more than enough to purchase 4 real monitors and a flexible arm mount for them. She would also have space for these items on her desk if it weren't for the numerous pencils and vintage phone that have accumulated there. Or there's the beanie-wearing skateboarder who can summon floating objects from his skateboard using his Quest Pro. He then takes up a Rubik's Cube and nervously plays with it. Like, guy, who the heck is this for? Please explain to me the profession or trade that this new tool by this Quest Pro is going to revolutionize. Show me that the entire virtual Meta office nonsense is not just a long-running ruse to encourage companies to buy headsets for their white-collar staff so they can have overly planned meetings about subjects that could have easily been covered in a 3-paragraph email. I'm so sick of attending meetings when emails would suffice. And, as you well know, I can no longer even pretend to comprehend Meta's business strategies. I'm starting to wonder if the Zuck is merely trying to divert our attention away from a potential alien invasion at this point. It won't be long before we see a massive spacecraft in the sky, much like the one in Independence Day, being piloted by aliens that all like Mark Zuckerberg. I believe that is more possible than Meta actually making a profit at this moment, but let me know what you all think in the comments area below. Do you believe that Facebook will eventually earn a profit as a result of the Quest Pro, avatars with legs having virtual meetings, people buying and selling virtual land to one another in Central, and that's adjacent to Snoop Dogg or Joe Rogan? Or will they keep losing money up until Zuck returns to his home planet? Don't forget to leave a comment, share the video, subscribe, and click the notification bell to receive more updates if you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.